Welcome back to the Bluechip Breakdown, Vols fans. I'm your host, Bull. Happy Super Regional Friday to everybody. And in today's video, of course, we're going to be breaking down the matchup between our Vols and the Evansville Purple Aces. I think that this one does favor our Volunteers, but we'll take a look at the numbers. I'll kind of tell you why. I'll tell you how I think this series is going to end up playing out. And as always, y'all make sure to leave y'all's comments down in the comment section. I also want to touch on some football notes that we just got. Some of it is pertaining to the OVs, and some of it is just with our team that's already up on campus, going through the summer workouts. So, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump into it. And the first thing that I want to talk about is with our football team that's already up on campus. It sounds like the offseason workouts are going great. We got guys like Caleb Herring, who came in light, right, playing on the edge, playing at the Leo position. His biggest thing, whenever he came in as a true freshman, was to gain a whole bunch of weight. And we've seen the clips of him saying, man, look, I'm eating 2 and 3 protein shakes along with my meals and all of that. So that's all paid off. He came from, being like 210 pounds to 205 pounds whenever he got up on campus to being up to 250 pounds. So that's huge. Obviously, that's SEC weight, but we always talk about this with these players, right? Like whenever you're heading into the summer practices, right? That's when you want to try to overgain. So if your target weight might be, we'll call it 240 pounds, you might want to try to get up to about 247. Now, I know that they've got a great, strength and conditioning program and all of that. So they should be able to maintain that weight. But I think that him already being at 250 pounds, he might try to gain just a little bit more before he gets into summer practices. And, he should be playing somewhere between 240 to 240 very solid pounds, moving very, very quickly. So that's going to be big because he's going to be coming in after the next guy that we'll be talking about in Joshua Joseph, who also has gained a whole lot of weight. He's up to 245 to 250 pounds. So that's two guys that have SEC caliber weight right there behind James Pierce. And I think that that's going to be huge, obviously, for us moving forward in a season where we are going to need our pass rush to be on point. And we don't know if James Pierce is really going to be that guy that he was last season. I think that he's actually going to be even better just in watching him kind of go to work. But I'm very excited about our pass rush and our defensive line as a whole. Another player up on that D line is Nathan Robinson. He's like 6'5", 6'6". He plays defensive tackle. Sounds like he's up to about 295, almost 300 pounds. So he's also going to be a player I think that's going to contribute a lot for us this season. That's more depth. That's a player that we haven't talked a lot about. Spoke some about him after the orange and white game. I said, yeah, he did stand out. Looks like he's got a high motor. He's got that pop. He's got that burst that you want. But now we're talking about him really gaining a little bit more weight. He could be a very consistent, solid piece for us throughout, the course of this season, because we know it's very, very long. And at some point, he's probably going to have to step up. But it's good to know that he's already taken the right steps just to get his body ready for this grind in this SEC schedule. Now, the next couple of players that I want to talk about is going to be on the offensive line, okay? Trevor Duncan, who we know made the move from defensive line to offensive tackle, he's up to 300 pounds. We talked about his frame. We said, man, his frame is ideal. It's almost perfect. It's textbook to be a tackle, and he just needs to fill it out. So he's already doing that. Jesse Perry is another player. He came in as a true freshman, said the same thing about him and all the rest of those true freshmen on the offensive line, said those guys have got to gain weight. Sounds like he's been doing it. He's already up to 300 pounds. He's going to continue to gain, I think, as the season goes on, because he's not going to be a player that we're looking to necessarily play that much this season, if at all. But, he should kind of be on a different regimen and program that's just about getting stronger, gaining weight. Not going to be the exact same as what the players that are, we are expecting to play are going to be going through on a week-to-week basis, where they're more in a maintain stage. He can continue to stay in that gaining stage because, again, we're not asking him to come out and play this year. So I think that that's great news just with how the offseason workouts are going, and haven't heard a whole lot about anybody else, but I'm just going to anticipate that everyone's kind of on the same page as far as, making those gains, whether you need to make gains in strength and in weight, or if you just need to kind of cut back some, maybe bad weight and gain some strength that way, gain some speed, whatever. I know that we're going to be doing that on a very consistent basis because, like we said, we've got a great strength and conditioning program. And as we are transitioning into the OVs, I do want to point out that we've done such a good job of going out and identifying talent, especially kind of like underrated talent at the tackle position, that now we are pretty much filled up there. And we talked about this maybe like a week or two ago about how deep that tackle room is, especially moving forward. And we said, man, it looks like we need to be targeting more interior offensive linemen. Well, sounds like that's exactly what the staff is doing at this point. We kind of have started to cut off some of these players if they're not really, really high caliber blue chip players at the tackle spot. And Jalen Matthews is one that it sounds like the staff is not pursuing anymore. He's not going to be coming up on an official visit anymore because we are looking at really primarily David Sanders and Josh Petty. So I think that that says a couple of things. Number one, like we just talked about, we're really deep at that position moving forward. But also, number two, that it sounds like we're in a great position with David Sanders and Josh Petty. So this weekend's official visits will be highlighted by Josh Petty as number one. Okay, you can call him maybe 1A. And we've also got Aiden Manutai or Manute, who I think is going to be 1B as far as who we're really trying to close out on this weekend. But Josh Petty, you know, 5-star offensive tackle or offensive lineman, period. That's more of what I would call him because he can move around to a lot of different spots. But I do think he's a little bit shorter, but he can play tackle. I mean, he just has a really good skill set at that position, but just as an offensive lineman, period. Right now, it's between us, Florida State, Georgia Tech, and Stanford. I really think it's more so between us and Florida State. Sounds like his sister might be about to go on to school at Florida State, so that might be something for us to kind of overcome. I don't know if she's gotten enrolled in classes just yet. Maybe she can switch up and come on up to Knoxville. We talk about him as a kid that grew up as a big Tennessee fan, and I think that this weekend is just really going to set the tone for how everything else plays out because obviously, man, you know, with Josh Petty and David Sanders being as close as they are, with GMAC, you know, like that whole trio, they're all really close. I think they all want to play together. I think that if Josh Petty comes out of this visit and he's going to, you know, publicly name Tennessee as his new leader, now all of a sudden we've got even more buzz with, you know, David Sanders, who we do feel like is trending towards Tennessee anyway. And I think that that would help us to recruit some other players that might kind of be on the fringe of, hey, where do I want to go? You know, maybe like somebody like Shakai Mills-Knight, who's playing at the running back position. Maybe he says, man, look, I'm going to be able to run behind these studs, you know, for the next 2-3 years or whatever. I mean, maybe that would put us in a much better spot with him. So obviously that's one that we're going to be watching very, very closely. He has already arrived on campus. He was up on campus, it looks like last night. So going to be watching that one very closely, but I think that Tennessee's going to come out of this one with some really, really good news. At least that's what I'm hoping. So the next player is Aiden Manutai. He's going to be up on campus. That's the 6 foot, 170-pound safety. He's a 3-star from Hawaii. Sounds like he loves Tennessee. He's the one that I would say, man, after this visit, do not be surprised if, you know, maybe like within the next couple of weeks or maybe like the next week or so, he just goes on ahead and pulls that trigger. I think he's all about business. He just wanted to visit everyone. I do believe that Tennessee is his last visit. So after this one, I mean, he's probably going to go ahead and announce whatever his date's going to be. If he even, you know, does a big deal about it, he might not do that. He might just say, hey, look, I'm coming to Tennessee. That is what it is. It might just be a post, whatever. But yeah, he's one that we most definitely want to get in this class. Now, we are supposed to be having 4 other official visitors, and I'm not quite sure exactly who they are. I do know that these 3 right here will be coming up on campus. And the first person is going to be Jaden Lofton. He's a 3-star edge player from New Jersey, 6'4", 235 pounds. He will be on campus. And then we've also got Brandon Brown. He is a 4-star defensive tackle prospect committed to Texas. He's from Florida. Okay, he's going to be up there. We're going to try to flip him. Definitely needs some more help at that position. Then we've got Cortez Harris, who's a 4-star edge guy from Maryland, 6'2", 200 pounds. He's the one that I said he's a little bit light. You know, he's a little bit small just in general to be an edge guy. Haven't seen a whole lot of his film, seen like bits and pieces of it. Maybe they want to try to move him to like a linebacker position because we do need a linebacker in this class. And oh, by the way, it does sound like we're back trending for Jaden Perlati. We'll see what happens with that visit. I believe he's coming up next weekend. Really, the visit next weekend is the real big one. This one is not as many people, it's not as many players, and I think that part of that is we wanted to make up ground with guys like Josh Petty, and we really wanted to close out on Aiden. I expect for us to do that, but next weekend is when a lot more players coming in. And, you know, again, if we can get off to a good start this weekend, heading into next weekend, then, man, I think that we still have a good chance to finish top 5 with this class. All right, now on to the Super Regionals matchup, okay, us versus the Purple Aces. I just got a few stats up here. We all know the baseball, it's like a million different stats that I could have put up here. But these are the ones that kind of made the most sense to me. I think that they're the most important, you know, at least in my opinion. So batting average, you see that Tennessee is ranked number 17 with a 311 batting average for the team. And then the Purple Aces are number 47 with a 301 batting average. And that's really good, okay? These are 2 teams that can hit for sure. On base percentage, we're number 22. Getting on base at 41%. And then the Purple Aces are number 35. Getting on base also at 41%, okay? So slugging percentage, we're number 2 in the country with 604, and then they're number 39 with 509. Home runs per game, okay? A little bit of a difference right here, okay? We're averaging 1 more home run than the Purple Aces are. We're number 3 in the country, they're number 60 in the country. And then stolen bases per game. I just threw this in here because I wanted to highlight the fact that neither one of these teams do a whole lot of base stealing, but it does kind of feel like Tennessee has tried to run a little bit more. So watch out for that in this series. I don't know if we're going to just jump out the window, especially not in game one, but maybe in game two, you might see us try a couple of things. But neither one of these teams, like I said, is going to be great at stealing bases. Now, ERA, this is really important. The pitching. I think that Tennessee's pitching is phenomenal. Number 3 in the country in ERA with 3.8. And then the Purple Aces are number 145 in the country with 5.95. Now, they do have a couple of really good pitchers. We will get to that in just a second. Now, fielding percentage, we're number 24 with 97.9%. And then they are number 61 with 97.6%. So very, very close right there. Now, let's talk about some of their key players, right? Starting off with their pitchers, and who I believe is going to be the starter today. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet, but he is number 16. He's a true freshman. He's a lefty, and his name is Kenton Deverman. He's 9-1, and he's got a 3.81 ERA. This is their ace. This is the guy that, if we can get past him, and they've got a couple of other guys, we'll talk about them. But if we can get past Deverman, then, I think that we are in a really good spot to be able to win this one and, maybe win it in just 2 games. Now, the next pitcher that they have, he's number 42. His name is Donovan Schultz. He's 6-2, and he's got a 5.84 ERA. Then they've also got number 17, Shane Harris. He's 8-6 with a 3.63 ERA. And we are expecting that we will have Chris Stamos getting the start for us today. He's a lefty, okay? He's 3-0 as a starter this season, and he's got a 3.6 ERA. So, both teams are going to be kind of starting off with some guys that they think can get it done. The biggest difference, obviously, whenever it comes to the pitching is Tennessee is a lot deeper. Now, once the Purple Aces get done with these 3 pitchers, once they're done, that's pretty much it. I mean, it just dwindles off significantly. So, yeah, I mean, we have to come out and we have to be hot. You know what I'm saying? We have to come out and hit that baseball. But I really want to see our batters at the top of the lineup. I don't know if I want to say be ultra conservative and really make them throw your strikes, but make them throw your strikes. I mean, don't just be swinging at junk. You kind of got to get a feel for what they're doing, but you still want to, you still want to do what you've always done. I don't think we're going to have any problem with that. This lineup should look really good for us. Now, as far as their lineup goes, starting off with number 32, Mark Schallenberger. He's got 17 homers on the season, and he's got a 390 batting average. The next player is number 18, Kip Fergaroos. I hope I'm saying his name right. He's got 21 home runs on the season, and he's got a 350 batting average. And outside of those 2 players, I mean, their lineup is pretty consistent. They've got a lot of guys that can hit. They're actually number 4 in the country in doubles per game. Okay, they're averaging 2.48 doubles per game. Tennessee is number 21 in that same category, averaging 2.2 doubles per game. But we also know that we don't do a whole lot of that, kind of like playing small ball stuff. I mean, we're usually, knocking the ball out of the park. So we can also play that way too. I'm saying all that just to say that this is going to be a game that I feel like our defense will need to step up. And, obviously the pitching, this has to continue to be what it has been, it has to continue trending in the same direction that it has been over like the past couple of weeks. And we should be fine. Honestly speaking, y'all, I think that once we get past their first 2 pitchers, I mean, there's really no reason that we don't just run away with this game today. And especially tomorrow, if this game, I don't think this is going to go 2-3 games, but if it does for any reason, I mean, I just don't see any way that Tennessee does not completely run away with it. But you have to, you don't want to overlook anybody, right? Especially at this point. They are here for a reason because they earned the right to be here. But just, look at it like this. They're a team that kind of plays very similar to how Tennessee plays, but they're just not as good at doing what Tennessee does. So we're just like a much better version of, what they like to do. I mean, that's just the best way to say it. I think that we will have a whole lot of success, and it should be a whole lot of fun. Probably won't be going live after this game today, but I might do it tomorrow if we win. So hopefully y'all will be joining us for that. And also, thank y'all so much for all of the donations. It's been helping us out tremendously. And if you would like to donate, then just click on that or scan that barcode right up there, that Cash App barcode, and you can also donate. And we would greatly, greatly appreciate anything you can donate, as little as $1 on Cash App. But as always, thank y'all so much for sticking all the way to the end. And please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans. We'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.